let's take a look at Conquest Princess. Conquest Princess is falling apart. It's not falling apart at all. I had things set up to reveal in a certain way, and they fell on the ground. I'm sorry, Seppi. Everything's cool. We're going to be all right. Seppi's the designer, and he won't put his name on the box. And that needs to change. So put it in the comments. Seppi, put your name on the box. Take credit, all right? All right, anyway, Conquest Princess actually funded. It funded last summer, had a successful Kickstarter, and this is a cooperative 1 to 4 player, absolutely just over the top, what do I want to say, campy, Star Trek, Power Rangers. Okay, what other people say is Star Trek meets Sailor Moon. I don't have as much history with that. What I have a history of, and what I feel when I play this that makes me kind of giddy, is I feel like it's been a Saturday morning back in the 80s, early 90s maybe, but probably 80s. I've enjoyed my Saturday morning cartoons, and I don't have to go to school, but we're having the weekday afternoon cartoon shows where we go to like Disney Afternoon and then Fox 28 Kids Club, and Power Rangers comes on, right? And I always wanted to be the Red Ranger. He was like the coolest dude ever, and I just wanted to be exactly like the Red Ranger. I even got like the cutoff, I got the button-up red, what is that? The red checkered shirt with the cutoff sleeve. I went all out. Yeah, so they were the coolest. And I wasn't so into the Pink Ranger, but who was the other one? Not the blue, the other girl. She was my friend. She was cool. I liked her. I liked her a lot. Anyway, that's the feeling I get when I play Conquest Princess, if that wasn't the intent. So let me show you why. Let's go overhead and show you exactly how this game works. Oh yeah, no, back to me. The game funded. So what on earth are we looking at? So the game funded. However, there's a mini expansion, the Night of the Necropede, that's going to be launched in February, shortly after this video posts. So, if you didn't get to back it the first time, then you get a chance to back the base game, and you can back the Night of the Necropede, or you can just back Night of the Necropede. I'm not 100% sure on how that all is going to work until we see the launch page, so forgive me. But that's kind of the idea of it. Am I pressuring you to back this? No. Is this sponsored? Absolutely not. Here's what I got. I'm not paid for this one. I'm not opposed to being paid for Kickstarter things. I just haven't figured out how I want to do it yet, so I'm not. But anyway, with this, I get this prototype, this good prototype, for 2 weeks. And then I ship it to the next person. I'm sorry, that's not payment. When I do these things, I'm working with rulebooks that aren't complete. It's generally not fun, actually. But the idea of what's being fulfilled is fun. I actually had fun. I got to play with the designer, and it makes me laugh. Okay, so here we go. Conquest Princess. This is a game of trying to keep the timeline intact, right? In a universe, in a world, and this is the Sailor Moon-y part, where fashion is your power, right? That's what like powers the universe, is creativity and fashion. And then the Star Trek-y part is teleporting around all over the place. And the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is controlling this gigantic robot that you all like unify to control. Here's the thing. There's a timeline. It's been disrupted by Moo Gaga. The 80s and 90s references and 70s references in this thing are nuts. I didn't catch all of them, but you will. Fast Fashion, Depeche Mode, it's all over the place. Moo Gaga, the fashion tyrant, is trying to destroy the timeline. You, as agents of the timeline, working on the tiara, which stands for temporal something. Everything actually means something, and it's fantastic. I love the creativity in this is nuts. Okay, anyway, so you're playing as these time agents trying to defeat Moo Gaga. Well, to defeat Moo Gaga, you need the most powerful weapon in the universe, which is the Conquest Princess, a gigantic robot with a very dark past that is included in the comic book when you back it. I'm pretty sure it's like an illustrated comic or something like that. Look at the Kickstarter for all the details. Forgive me for that. I always get nervous that I'm not going to get it exactly right for when it launches. But there's a backstory. You can watch the cartoons on YouTube right now. It's a universe. It's fun. All right, so here we are, these time agents on the tiara. How does it start? Well, you start with a tutorial mission. I've already done a video of it. I'll put the card here. You can look at that tutorial mission. It walks you through. You can open the box, lay things out, do the tutorial. You learn how to play. Then you go to the standard mission, which is what I have in front of me. Now, last time I just had like paper components. Now I've got these awesome recessed boards, and I want to give you some points there, Seppi. Thank you for doing recessed boards that are high quality. These things do not warp. They do not bend. They do not separate. Whatever you did, bam. Stick with that. It's fantastic. All right. And don't worry about having trouble seeing small icons. Everything's big, which means a big table presence. That's a part of it. Here we are on the tiara with our agents. What are we going to do? Well, the first bad thing that happened was our captain, Captain Ashi, got like captured and incapacitated, something like that, in the tutorial mission. We made it to the planet. We rescued her. Now that we have rescued her, something has happened. The Conquest Princess, our gigantic savior robot thing, has been attacked, right? So what our cosmic pet friends over here, our cosmic pet friends, there we go, our cosmic pet friends have distributed the Conquest Princess into its different elements and scattered them around and are trying to protect them. So our mission right now is we've got to go and collect all the different pieces of the Conquest Princess to put the Conquest Princess together so we can go to the next stage of the game in fighting against the Dark Portal. And then we go into a boss battle. That's right. So there are 4. I'm pretty sure 4 different missions included in this cooperative game. You don't have to play them in order. It's not a campaign, but it is a campaign. Isn't that it's a continuing story, but it increases in difficulty. So in the standard mission, we got to collect the elements. So what's going on the board here? Let me show you what we got. This is the tiara. This is the ship. Now, we have these different elements of the Conquest Princess. That's what the colored dice are. And you're going to see them on battlefields as well. But here we have our 4 agents. And I have them laying down so you can see them, but they actually stand up. This is the deluxe acrylic version. So the cardboard standees and cardboard components to replace any acrylic components would be in that version. So just know that. I've got both. I decided to pull out the acrylic. It makes me happy. Oh my wow, we got danger tokens up here. So what are we going to do? We got breach points on these numbers. This is where enemies spawn, trying to attack the tiara. These minions, boom, take a good look at them. These minions spawn, and we have to get them off the Conquest Princess, or they damage it. They damage it, and we lose benefits. So what on earth do you do? Let's take a look at our player board. If you're playing solo, you control all 4 characters. I will be totally honest. This is not a brain burner. It is once you get to advanced and the boss battle. It felt like a brain burner when I played earlier versions. This complete one, it is not. All right. Each character has their own special ability, and we'll take a look at that. But they all work the same as far as doing actions. So Agent Red's my favorite. So that's what I'm going to show you. Here's what you've got. You've got 4 action tokens right here. So you're going to use your action token to either move, shoot, or engage. And engage ends your turn. So I'd probably do like move, shoot, maybe move, and maybe engage. Let's say I plan it out. Now I'm going to carry it out. I've got red right here. I'm going to move. Well, I'm going to pick up this component of the Conquest Princess. I'm going to move it to where I'm collecting them. And I'll show you that board in a moment. The pet collection mission board. So I took my move action. Now, I've got a minion right here. I'm going to shoot the minion. How do you shoot? This game's a bag builder. So you go in here, you start with a certain number of hits, misses, and critical fails. You get to add bonus tiles, and you can kind of control your successes by keeping misses, things like that. You go in here, and you draw. Boom. Red has a special power. Each character has special powers, where she gets to draw 2. Boom, boom. Look at that. I got 2 hits to pick from. I keep 1. All right. I took a hit. I got a hit. I place it on the breach point, and I return the minion to my sideboard, which I'll show you in a minute. Awesome. That was successful. Now I'm going to do, what did I do next? I'm going to do a move. I'm going to move to one adjacent space on any battlefield or on the tiara. I'm going to move to the teleporter. Then I'm going to engage the teleporter. Engage has a different action on each space that you can engage. On the teleporter, it lets me teleport to another battleground. All right? So we got that. That's it. That's all you do. That's all you do. The other things you have on your character board are your armor points or your armor something something. But anyway, this is your armor. So let's say that I was here and I wasn't successful. Let's say that I drew a critical fail from the bag instead. Boom. Oh no. Not only do I miss, but I also have to take an armor point. I can heal by going over to the Mendery, something like that, the Mendery. I can heal in order to get that back. So that would be an engage action in order to heal. There's other ways to heal as well. Then I would take this critical fail and I would put it over wherever my attack was, boom, blocking that in my next turn. So in my next turn, when I come back to this character, I'm going to reload by putting all my tokens up. All right, so I've got 3 available actions. Now I have a choice. I can remove this, put it back in the bag, which means it increases my chances of a critical hit, but it allows me to take an action. Or I can leave it here, lock it in place for 1 turn, which allows me to earn one of these power cubes. You start with none, so I earn one of them. Boom, that's awesome. But I don't get to take an action there, okay? So, good fun. That's how the bag building in Basic works. If you miss, you simply place the miss there and you don't take any damage. Oh my goodness, minion. Silly minion. Whatever. Alright. I know I put it back in the wrong place, but I don't know where it went. Where are you at? There you are. Fantastic. Okay, so looking at that, we've got those. Then we got these power cubes. So let's say I earned that power cube. There are a couple ways you can earn them. One of them you just saw. Another is through a character's special ability. I have a choice. I can hold on to it. Or I can use it as a 5th action. Or if something's blocked, just as an extra action. You move it down to whatever you are going to do. And then, when you lock and load on the next turn, you lose the power cube. Boom! Pow! We got it. Okay. However, if you keep it, and you earn up to 4 power cubes, you get to the transformation sequence. This allows your character to have that Sailor Moon transformation moment where you become the ultimate version of whatever it is Red Agent is best at. So, we flip it over. It's going to be different for every single one. First, there are a few other things that happen. You get to fully heal up, and you get to, each character has a special ability, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. You get to flip it over to its super side. And you also get this one-time super action. It's going to be different for each one of your characters. You only get to transform once. You remove it. Boom. You put all the power cubes back into the Titan field where there are a limited number for you to get. If there are none left, you can't get them. And that's it. That's how you play most of the game, right? By taking actions. Now, we're done with you. Oh my goodness. Go over there. Fantastic. Now, let's look at the other part of each character. So each character gets that gauntlet, which, just so you know, that gauntlet is huge, and it doesn't need to be that big, so it is being made smaller. The designer's already working on that. I appreciate it. Then you've got your fashion plate over here, okay? So this starts out empty with nothing but this starting ability right here. So we've got the starter side, the rage plate. It's different for every character. Red Agent loves to attack. So your first attack with the core suit each turn. Draw 2 tiles, choose one, return the other. I showed you how that worked. When we transform, we flip it over and permanently have an upgraded ability. Fantastic. You will be able to find your pet co-pilot friends. I'm going to show you on the mission board. And when you do, you get to put it here, and they come with a ongoing ability. Super cool. Love it. You're also going to be able to collect power-ups and fast fashion, Depeche Mode, throughout the game, and you get to put them in the appropriate slot. The chest slot, feet, hands, and helmet, right? And you can only have one in each appropriate slot. They're either one-time uses, like fast fashion when it's pink, so you disintegrate it whenever you want and use the ability. A lot of the power-ups, like this one is a starter, that's an ongoing ability that you get to use every time you start your turn. Fashion plate. There you go. Oh my goodness. Okay, then I want to show you the sideboard. We've got over here. Hello. Sideboard is your storage. So these are just extra pieces that you may or may not use throughout the game. So you've got your extra little dice over here. You've got your minions over there. You've got your danger tokens. You've got your critical hits and your successful hits and your misses. You also have things that you disintegrate. So when something is out of the game or disintegrated, you put it over here. Disintegrated power-ups, fast fashion events. There's a slot for everything. This game is organized. All right. I think we've seen everything on the tiara except the danger level. Boom, boom. In Conquest Princess, there's only one way to lose, and that is by running out of power. So you've got your power right over here. Power is fashion. Fashion is power. If this ever is empty, you lose the game immediately. What these danger tokens do is there are things that can happen. Let's say that I get attacked by an enemy, but I've lost both of my armor patches, so I have to take a hit, but I don't have any armor patches. What happens? Well, I have to take a disruption in the timeline, that's right. And in order to repair that disruption and save myself, I take a disruption, which means I have to disintegrate 2 power-ups because I have 2 danger tokens. If I had 3, I'd have to disintegrate 3. Remember, this goes down to the bottom, you lose the game. So, those get disintegrated and put into the disintegrated power-ups. That's basically how that works. Alright, danger tokens done. Fast fashion. You get to draw a fast fashion every time you teleport because you go into the vortex of fashion creative land and you get to pick up a fast fashion. Boom! And you get to put it onto your, I call it the fashion plate, but I think it's your core suit. Something like that. Okay? Boom. Or you can choose to disintegrate it, not use its ability, and gain a power cube instead. Boom, boom, pow. I love that. Alright. Then we've got our halo, which is set up for solo play. You can move it however you like. Our halo is how our Tiara ship works. We've got our different sections: engineering, teleporter, memory, wardrobe, and comms. Comms is what allows us to sort of look into the future for what is coming during the enemies phase of the game. So each one of the missions, the standard, the advanced, the boss battle, the Night of the Necropede, mini expansion, has a different deck of basically events. That's what I call them. I call them events. All right, I think that's what they're called in the game too. So with our comms, we have our telemetry. What this means is this is our draw pile. This is our discard pile. This is if we draw, this starts out empty, but if we draw a power up that is for comms only, we can choose to put that right here for an ongoing powered up comms system. Now, what we have is our telemetry, which shows us one of 2 things that might happen in the future. We get to, if you're playing solo, just you, but if you're playing cooperatively as a team, you decide which one of these is going to happen. All right, so you can decide this one we can survive, this one we can't. So when it comes to the enemy phase, you would play this one, and then you would discard, or if it says disintegrate that event. There is a point where you will get a card that tells you to reshuffle your discard pile back into the mission deck. And it's only the harder cards that get reshuffled in, so the game gets harder and harder as you go. Oh my goodness. You can also, though, take damage, which is going to limit how you can use this ability. So comms is somewhere. Comms is over here. Boom. There's comms. If comms gets hit, so let's say I've got a minion here, but I don't have an agent, right? So they're going to get a chance to attack. Not on either of these cards. Is there one with an attack? Yes, this one right here. Let's say this was there. So first we would spawn a minion on 7. Boom, we'll pretend this is a new one. And we put him there. Then all of these are going to attack. So he would attack. I've got Agent Blue there. Agent Blue's going to lose an armor point. Why can't I remember what they're called? An armor something. An armor piece. I don't remember. Anyway, there's no agent here to attack, so it's going to attack comms. So I flip this over, and this is going to change color, so it's easier to tell that it's been hit. Right now it's gold, but it's not a very bold gold. It needs to be better. If it gets attacked again, boom! Now we're at our worst comms right here. So what that means is we wouldn't be able to see what's happening in the future. We would just have to flip over blindly, right? So the more damaged it is, the more limited you are in abilities. And for the sake of time, I won't run through all of these. But then we've got our wardrobe, which lets us launch some of these into our bag. So we have a chance of drawing more power-ups. Whenever you see that symbol and you target it or something, then you get to collect a power-up. So you get to use this special ability, and this is your power line. So if you ever get instructed to select a power-up, you can pick up from these 2 or draw blindly from the top. As soon as you pull one, you replace it with another. Remember, fashion is power. If you use too much fashion, you could end the game early, so be careful. A lot of these go back into the discard. There is a way that you can use the wardrobe in order to shuffle your discard back into the power-ups section. You've also got this starts out blank, but if you collect a power-up that says wardrobe only, you can place it right there if that's the one that you want. And you get permanently upgraded abilities. Over here, engineering. Our character, let's say our character is in engineering. By the way, to use any of these, so comms, I would just move a character there, use an engage action to use that. So boom, boom, boom. So I'm in engineering. I use an engage action. What do I get to do? I get to repair any ship sector. So comms is damaged. I could use an engage action to repair by either placing this in, or if it's in there, flipping it over. Love that. Then you can also get a power-up for engineering only. The teleporter lets you teleport to any teleport space. So any space with this teleporter icon on any of the battlefields. Very useful. Then we've got our Mendery over here, and each of these has their own special power-up space if you collect the power-up for that section. If we were in the Mendery, we get to heal armor patches. Patches, that's what they are. Armor patches. We also have the option of launching these into the Bag of Destiny. This is the Bag of Destiny for the bag builder to increase our chances with shooting, as this is a battle game and you are shooting things. That's the tiara. Let me show you the battlefields for how we are collecting the pieces of the Conquest Princess in the standard game. Let me clear this. Mugaga has sent Space Invaders and the mighty Mechapede to assault and take over. The Mechapede is trying to cover the moon with goo. If they cover the moon with goo, and then they have to drop more goo, then we have to start taking disruptions. The game is going to end. How on earth do we fight the Mechapede and collect the pieces of the Conquest Princess that the Mechapede has seemingly swallowed? So we got to get those out while also keeping the planet protected from goo. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? We're going to teleport from the Conquest Princess with an engage action. Boom, teleported. Yay! Then we can move on the moon surface. In the standard mission, we can only move on the moon surface. In future missions, you can fly in space. It's fun. All right. So let's say I wanted to move here. I can then take a shoot action to shoot the nearest part or the nearest enemy. So it would always be the closest box. You can never skip it. So what I would do is I would take a shoot action. Boom, I'm going to shoot. And it's a critical fail. We already saw how a critical fail works. But let's say I take another shoot action. And I draw. Oh, it's a critical fail. What are the chances? I take a third shoot action for my fourth one. Boom. What are the odds? Okay, so 3 critical fails are done, but there's no critical fails left in the bag. I don't think you can have that bad of luck when you're playing the game. Whatever, it's Blue's turn. Blue was already on that space, so guess what Blue's going to do? Blue is going to use Red's special ability, because here's the cool thing. Since it's a cooperative game, if you share a space with another character, you get to use their special ability. So we're going to use Red's special ability to go draw 2. Yay, pick one. There's a hit. And return the other. All right, that was the first shoot action. Let's say I take another. So we're going to shoot up another level to shoot this head of goo. Boom, boom. A hit and a miss. I would like a hit this time, thank you. There are times you want to take the miss just to get it out of the bag and increase your chances for the next. Boom, it's a hit. I get to take this dice and place it on the mission board that I'm going to show you in a moment. But anyway, that's what we would do. I also hit a head, which disables this centipede Mechapede head. So we've got 1, 2, 3 Mechapede heads. It is nice to be able to disable them. Here's why. Let's say we took all our turns. All 4 characters have taken all their turns. It's now the event phase. Boom. I apply the event card that we chose. First, I would apply the invasion board, then the tiara board. So on the invasion board, I'll show you what that means. On the tiara, we would spawn minions on breach point 4 and 5. Then we would come over to the Mechapede. The Mechapede's going to attack, which means he's going to drop goo from each of his heads. Boom, he dropped goo. Boom, he dropped goo. We don't really love that. Now, if he drops goo and there's a character there, you lose an armor point, but they don't. The goo is gone. We like that. I hope I got that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, if you drop goo and there's already goo there, then you place it in the nearest close space. If there are no more spaces left to drop goo, then you have to start taking those disruptions and disintegrating power-ups, and it's very bad. How do you get rid of goo? It's back to our turn, our next turn. We get to use a move action. Boom. we're going to use another move action to move this dice, this part of the Conquest Princess, onto our mission board. We're going to use our third move action to move the goo. We put it back out of the way. That's how you remove the goo. You can also use an engage action, which lets you move one of the Mechapede pieces any direction that you like. If a board ever goes all the way over, then you get to flip it over and it's done. It can't hurt you anymore, right? So that's pretty good, pretty cool. Good way to get rid of them. Again, if a Mechapede head is hit, it doesn't get to drop the goo there. Now, what does this little icon here means? It means wiggle, wiggle. So if I'm correct, it means you wiggle each one of these any direction. I'll have to double check on that. But I know it means that you wiggle them. And I'm pretty sure it's any direction. Anyway, I messed up on something. When we did this hit, we apply every icon there. So when I hit here, I would have moved this to the right. Because the Centipede Mechapede is wiggling around. Anyway, it wiggles. How do you defeat it? Well, the only ways you can defeat it really is by getting it all the way up the board to flip it over. If you cover all the pieces as well, that's another way. So if I hit on every single one of these, I get to flip this over. I get to put all of these back into the bag, and we no longer have to be threatened by that Mechapede. But the goal is to collect all the Conquest Princess parts. Let's look at the invasion board. Alright, so let's say all four of our characters have taken their turns, right? So we've got Agent Green and Agent Purple went over here to where these Space Invaders are coming down to just apply pressure and destroy us. So we go to our event card. It's going to have different things. It's going to have, just like the Mechapede, it might have an attack symbol. In this case, it just has a move down. If it had an attack symbol in the invasion column there, then, and you do these left to right. So we've gone like invasion, tiara, Mechapede. We'll figure this out. Oh my goodness. So let's say that there was an attack symbol. Each one of these would attack if there was an unprotected character underneath. So Agent Purple isn't protected because she is not behind one of these super shields. We've got the Planetary Shield. Doesn't do us a bit of good, no. But for the purpose of the standard mission, you can only move along the planet surface behind the Planetary Shield. If you're behind this fancy thing, you don't get hit. But Agent Purple is right here, so she is going to lose one of her, why can't I remember what it's called, armor pieces. It should be so easy. What on earth is it? Put it in the comments. Tell me what. Patch. Thank you. Armor patch. Oh my goodness. Gravy. All right. So she would lose an armor patch. But more, because she would get hit by each one of these that doesn't have a token from the hit bag on it. So that's 1, 2, 3. That would be 3 hits. That would be awful. 2 armor patches and a disruption. Horrible. Yeah, we don't want that. So what you want to be is you want to be either under all hits or you want to be under this thing which protects you. So green would not get hit in that case because they're behind this shield thing. All right. What can you do when it's your turn? Oh yeah, the moving down. The moving down icon, what that means is if this right here above you is completely empty, you flip it over, put it at the top, and more Space Invaders come down. And from the sideboard, you place the dice that are showing, or the Conquest Princess parts that are showing right there. Now, what if, let's say it was like this. Let's say you did this, and it's not an empty board. There are all these little monster thingies. Congratulations, you take hits or disruptions for each one of these that does not have a hit on it. It's bad. It's really bad. Don't let them get down to the planet. That's the Space Invaders part. So how do you get rid of them? You shoot them. So if you are in a normal space like this, so it's my turn now. Purple's going to, for their first action, let's say they were behind there. We're going to move over one space. And we're going to take a shoot action. You already know how this works. Draw one, boom, and hit. The key to this game is sharing spaces with other characters to use their special actions. So for sake of argument, let's say purple and green shared a space. Green's special action, actually no, we'll save that for the next turn. Forget about that. So let's mix it up. Let's say it was green. Okay, so green is doing their thing. Green chooses to fire for their second one. They choose to fire for their third one, or shoot, I suppose. And it's a hit. Boom! Yay, we get the 3. We put that over on our pet board. And then let's say for their final action, they choose to move over here. And we're going to pretend that purple was right there. This is going to be useful because green's special action is they get to do an engage without ending their turn. So their first engage does not end their turn. Super valuable. Why that's important? Because if you are behind this shooty thingy, you don't get to do a normal shoot action because you're protected by this thing. So you got to shoot from these super mega cannons, right? So the super mega cannon, however, is an engage action, which normally would end purple's turn. But I am going to use green's turn since green moved over here to help me out. I love it. All right, so purple is now going to do the special engage action. They're going to go engage. That allows them to, for this particular space, to draw 2 tiles and apply both of them in any order they like. All right, so I'll apply the critical fail, and then I'll apply the hit to right here. That was my first engage. I have 3 more actions. I'll use them. Maybe I'll move. Then I'll move the dice to the pet board. I love life. And then purple's space is always a teleporter, so I could end with an engage, and I could teleport back to the tiara or onto the surface of the moon to fight the Mechapede. Boom! Pow! Those are all the battle boards. That's the standard mission. Let me just show you the mission board so you can see how you can win. All right, we have our mission board with our pet co-pilots. Our co-pilots are all shuffled up and placed face down. If they were face up, you can see there's 4 different ones. They all have different special abilities. Throughout the game, there are ways to reveal them. I'll show you. But also, you're able to collect them and add them to your fashion plate like I showed you earlier. Or your core... Yes, no, it is your fashion plate, and your core suit is the ability. Take that, Seppi. Take that. All right, so let's say we went on the tiara and we moved the 1 purple of the Conquest Princess part. So you have to start at the bottom. It can be 1, 2, 3, or 4. It doesn't matter. But wherever you place it, boom. Every other dice that you collect has to be connected to a dice. So you cannot shoot a space with a dice that you cannot collect. But let's say I did this, and then I shot, so I got a 1. Boom, pow, love it. So then I shot a 2, so I moved over there because they're connected. And that opens up, now I can get 2s or 2s, 3s, 3s. See, I have more options now. Let's say I got a blue 2, cool, and then a purple 2, I love it. You know what I need? I need a purple 2, and I'll tell you why. Let's say I got a 3, and I went around and collected a 1. So this is what it looks like. Right now, absolutely nothing can happen. It's no fun. But let's pretend I started with a purple 2. I filled up a whole column. I get to take this pet co-pilot and put it on either the purple or the green agent. I get to select which one. Awesome. And then they get this special ability. Super cool. If you complete a horizontal row, which I don't have enough of any color to do, but let's say it was the purple ones. I had a 1, 2, 3, and a 4. Then I would get the special ability at the right, which in this case is I get to take a power up. Or the reds, I would get to teleport for free. Now the greens are quite special. You see this little green icon here? That means I get to take a look at the pet. So if I place a green here, that's all I have to do, then I get to flip over the pet for that section. I placed a green here, so I would flip that over. Doesn't mean I get to use it, but there are some special power-ups or fast fashions that let you use the abilities of any revealed pets. That's how you do the mission board. Rescue all 4 of them by filling the 4 columns, and congratulations, you have won the standard mission. We made it through. Let me show you how the advanced mission works. It's almost all the principles are exactly the same. Different battlefields. However, you should be very comfortable with the cooperative nature of the game. These characters must share spaces and share abilities if you want to succeed. If you haven't figured out how to make them all work together, then replay the standard mission several times. It's fun. It's goofy, challenging puzzle fun. But let's pretend we've got that down. We're going to go to the next stage of the story, the advanced mission. So the advanced mission, what has happened? We have defeated the Mechapede, and we have fought off all of those invaders. So Mugaga, the fashion tyrant, retreats in fear because we have now found all the parts of the Conquest Princess and reassembled this great robot. Here we go, this gigantic justice-seeking robot. All right, so she has gone to the dark portal. She's gone in, and there is this semi-sentient goo that is like somehow protecting the dark portal, something like that. Anyway, the portal's closing. we have to get the Conquest Princess robot, navigate to the dark portal before the portal closes. But wait, the semi-sentient goo has found its way into the teleporting systems of the tiara, so we gotta fight off the semi-sentient goo as it divides into little pieces each time we shoot at it on the tiara, and also fend off all of these weird insect things, including butt blasters. Yes, I said that right. Butt blasters, blasting things from their butts on a planet to keep us from getting into the dark portal. So what would we do? This is the advanced mission, the dark portal. We have a new event deck. It works the same. It has oh hello. It has oh hello. It has oh hello. I should have shuffled. Oh hello. Yeah, I didn't. Oh hello. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anyway, you shuffle them together. These are special, terrible events that happen. You follow it, and then you draw the next one. These are your standard event cards. Anyway, we would do the same thing. We would go to the dark portal, and we would follow whatever it says. We would go to the tiara and do whatever it says, attack and spawn, and then we would go over to the Planet Assault, where we get assaulted by butt blasters. Can you say that enough? Butt blasters! It's an insect, okay? It's like a night. What do you call them? You know, those night thingies that blink. What do we call those? Lightning bugs. Thank you, lightning bugs with the glowing butts. Except these ones fire things at you. Or a bee. They sting you with their butt. Shall we get to a different discussion? All right, here we go. So, when you play the advanced mission, the tiara, the setup is the same. You put the dark portal to the left of the tiara. You put the planet to the right, just like you did on the other one. So what's happening? Now we get to fly in space, and we get to use the Conquest Princess. So we've got the Conquest Princess. Now we can move a character. We can move anywhere. We can fly in space. We can move anywhere, but we do have to hit things, right? If you want to, like, move over something, you do have to hit it, I believe, if I understand it right. Anyway, let's say the Conquest Princess is right here. I use a move action, and then I move into the Conquest Princess. So I would go into the Conquest Princess over here. Here I am in the cockpit. And once I'm in the Conquest Princess, I have a special engage action. I can use the Conquest Princess cannons to fire straight up. That means I get to draw 2 tiles out of the bag instead of the 1 and resolve them in any order. The Conquest Princess is also a teleporter, so I can use an engage action to teleport wherever I need to teleport. If I have someone in the Conquest Princess, I can also use a move action to move the Conquest Princess. What's the goal? To get the Conquest Princess to the dark portal. I think that's the dark portal. These get flipped over, just like an invasion. You follow the different icons, and sometimes these will get moved down and flipped over and flipped up and things like that. Right? So same as invasion, moving the Conquest Princess around. You can also leave the Conquest Princess with a move action, and then you can start flying around shooting things on your own. Right? So these should have hit markers if I shoot them. Good fun. If they get to the bottom, bad things happen. You take hits, disruptions, all kinds of terrible things depending on the baddies on the bottom. They all do different things. It's in the instruction booklet. Then you got the goo. What happens if you fire at the goo? Because we're not collecting dice anymore. Well, if I fired and hit the goo, then it splits. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. All right, so it would turn into 2 purple dice of 2, and it would go to a nearby... I'm mixing this with Night of the Necropede. But anyway, it splits in 2, and then you have to fire at those, and then it would split into 1s, and if you hit the 1s, then it goes away. Correct me if I'm wrong, Seppi. Trying to get the overview right, but you get the gist of it. That's the Dark Portal. How do you win the Dark Portal? Get the Conquest Princess to the Dark Portal. That's it. All right. There is another condition, actually. Get into the Dark Portal, and see, my instructions are on my phone, which is my camera. I think it's getting the goo off of the tiara. Something like that. Anyway, not easy to accomplish. That's the Dark Portal board. Let me show you where the butt blasters are. Butt blasters. Say it with me. Butt blasters. All right, let's go look at it. Then we have the Planetary Assault, where these Insectipede thingies are trying to stop us from getting to the Dark Portal, and we have to stop them. Forgive me if I don't have them in the exact starting order. but I've laid the tiles out. And what you're doing here is the same thing. You teleport to the planet's surface, and you are fighting off these enemies. You can shoot anything that is in your column. Same thing with the Dark Portal board. Anything in your column is what you can shoot, but there's some special abilities and some special enemies. So we've got our Scorpipedes things. They're Scorpionators, I forget what they're called. Your Scorpionators that do bad stuff. You got your Gold Generals, they're the worst. They do the worst things. They like disintegrate stuff and all that. And then you've got your double headers. I don't see the double headers. Where did they go? And then you got your Moth Menders, and if you hit them, you actually get to heal yourself. You get power-ups if you hit the Gold Generals. And then you got the Butt Blasters. And if they make it to the bottom, their booty explodes. And you see there's like a zipper. It looks like a zipper anyway. It explodes, and a minion comes out. That's right, a minion comes out to attack you. Or he spawns onto the TRS, something like that. Bad things happen. So if these guys get to the bottom, bad things happen. You don't want that to happen, so you want to fire, and you're putting out fires the whole time by moving around, shooting stuff. Special ability, the smart bomb, and I know it because of the brain. It's a brain bomb. The brain bomb, you can use one of the engage actions. And I do have the wrong one at the bottom, I'm pretty sure, because there should be engage actions down there. But anyway, an engage action lets you fire in a straight line at all enemies in that column, every one. You draw a tile for each one and resolve it in any order you want, but you do have to hit the first one first, and then moving upward. I think that's the wrong way. Whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. Planetary Assault. That's the advanced mission. If you succeed, let's go to the boss battle. It gets nuts. Alright, that brings us to the boss battle. And of course we got Night of the Necropede after this, which has 3 separate missions. I'm only going to show you the first one that I have access to the instructions to. I'm not going to go into detail about the boss battle, because it really changes the game up. It shares a lot of the same principles, but you definitely want to have mastered the standard mission and the advanced mission before you go into this. So, once we get to the boss battle, it is the Conquest Princess versus Mugaga. Finally, we have made it through the Dark Portal. We are in the Dark Dimension. We've got the Conquest Princess flying around in the Dark Dimension. We've got our crew here in the actual cockpit of the robot herself, Conquest Princess. We've got left arm, feet, right arm. All these things get flipped over for special abilities. You no longer are flying around on your own. It's only the Conquest Princess that moves around, and you have breach points, so you've got minions spawning in these cockpits. What you're doing is, instead of moving around out here, you can use a move action to move the Conquest Princess, or you can use the move action to move to different areas of the cockpit in order to take different special actions. Each area has a special engage action. One of them being a Tasser Beam, which is just like this crazy super attack. There's a whole mathematical formula on the board. It's your danger token level plus the number of minions on the board minus the pets that have been devoured. There's a lot to learn. Here's the basic thing. You're in the cockpit and you are controlling the Conquest Princess to get dice of the color that you're fighting against. So Mugaga has made evil shades of your agents that are controlling the Conquest Princess. To defeat that shade, if I got it correct, because I haven't gotten to fully play, or really I haven't gotten to play this at all. I've kind of gotten through setup and learning it. But I'm going to wait till my actual copy delivers the full version. All right, so to defeat the blue shade, I've got a dice number of 4. I've got to collect a total of 4 from the dice out here by moving the Conquest Princess and by attacking. Different areas of the body allow for different attacks. Diagonal, up, down, horizontal, and then of course the Tasser Beam, which does crazy things that ends up putting stuff on the boss battle board. I'm not going to go into detail about all that. It looks pretty cool, but it's a lot. Okay, so we've got that going on. And then you beat that one, then you go to the next shade until you beat all 4 shades, and once you beat all the shades, you can finally get to Mugaga and beat her herself, and she is going to be a 6 dice, so she's going to have dice out here of 6 in some way. Then you've got, over here, you've got the power core. So the semi-sentient goo has made it into the power core, but don't worry. Your pet co-pilots are in the power core trying to fight for you. So you're able to take certain special actions to move the pets around to save your power core while the semi-sentient goo is devouring your power. Remember, you lose the game if you run out of power because fashion is power, and you must keep that fashion. So you've got the pet co-pilots. If they do get eaten or devoured, it's not the end of the world. You can still use them in special ways because it's a wild and rambunctious, ridiculous game. All right. Got all that done. Goal is to finally beat the Tyrant, the Fashion Tyrant. You've got the event cards. You'd start over here, apply anything there. It looks like there's going to be attacks from the number 1 going vertically. It could be horizontally or something else. Same thing, Conquest Princess, spawn, attack, spawn at different breach points. And then, of course, the blob works a little different. Some new icons. I think you get the idea, though. If you beat that, oh my goodness. Get yourself a cookie or an Oreo or some other fantastic treat. Eat a box of Oreos, whatever. Once you beat the boss battle. Let's look at the mini expansion, Night of the Necropede. Takes us back to basics. Even though it is advanced, it's more similar to the first standard mission. In Night of the Necropede, so you have defeated the Fashion Tyrant, Mugaga. She's gone. We think. But you know who's not gone? The Mechapede. That's right. We thought we beat him in the beginning there, but we didn't. No. The Mechapede slithered its way to the dark portal into the dark dimension where it joins the Necrosiverse, or whatever it's called. I'm calling it the Necrosiverse, Seppi. There you go, Necrosiverse. And it's now alive as this dark Mechapede, Necrosipede, whatever you want to call it, right? But here's the thing. So it's come back. It's come back with this powerful vengeance to do terrible things. And so our time-traveling crew protecting the timeline of the Tiara is back at it, fighting against the Necropede in 3 missions. The first mission takes place in a space invasion, just like the standard mission. All you have as battlegrounds is your Space Invaders board and your Tiara over here, the basic Tiara that you did in the standard mission. But here's what's unique. Now you have, what are they called? The Polterdice. Yes, the Polterdice coming back with the Necropede. That's what it's called, the Necropede. That's the name of the expansion. Oh, my gravy. Life. Okay. Anyway, the Polterdice are causing you trouble by taking control over other enemies. That's right. So I've got these Necrodice on the board that I am trying to beat. They also can spawn on the Tiara, but I can't attack them directly when they're on the Tiara. No, what you'll have is you'll have a Polterdice on the Tiara in a section, and then there will be minions there. The Polterdice will take over the minion. If you clear all the minions in a sector with the Polterdice, then you defeat the Polterdice, right? They have to be deprived of the host. All right. Similar when they are invading. So you want to get rid of all the Polterdice. Oh my goodness. So what you want to do is you want to fire on the Polterdice. But here's what's going to happen. If I take a fire action, so let's say I took a fire and it was a hit. Please be a hit. Good. And I took a fire and it was a critical fail. Whatever. And then I did another one and it was a hit. Okay. And then I took my last one. Please be a hit. Be nice to me. Be nice to me. Yay, it was a success. I would hit it. Boom. I would take this down to a 2. And it would take over a nearby. Generally, it would go up. I'm pretty sure it would go up 1. If you can't go up, then you go next to it in one direction. So now it has taken over that one. I'd have to hit it again to take it down to a 1. It would move. That's how you get rid of the Polterdice. Okay, so that's basically how Night of the Necropede starts. Everything else, same as the standard. And it has its own event deck, of course. So you have the Invasion, you have the Tiara, and you have the Dark Portal set up over to the right. I'm not going to get too much into the Dark Portal since we already looked at that when we looked at the advanced mission. Very similar, just like Space Invaders, but you're fighting off these Polterdice. Super clever. Final thoughts. Why I am backing Conquest Princess and why indie publishers need our help. Why I'm backing it. This is wild. This is wild. This is rambunctious. This is fun. This is ambitious like no one's business. It is not actually overly complex. You learn the basics of it. You can continue advancing. I do have a small critique of the boss battle, or I guess a request. When it gets to the boss battle level, and I would even like this for the advanced mission, I understand, Seppi, I'm speaking to the designer here. I understand that you want to progress in skill as you play the game and be challenged more and more. However, I want you to reach more and more people, and I think people want to play all the missions, and some of us will just never reach that level of brilliance. One of them right here, right? I would try and miserably die. So, could I request, is this ridiculous, to request a training simulator? That's right, the Conquest Princess crew enters a training simulator. The rules are all exactly the same for the advanced mission and the boss battle. But before they go into that boss battle, or before they go into that advanced mission, they go as a crew into the training simulator, playing by all the same rules, but they can kind of practice, and it's just made a little more achievable. So we can feel accomplished, and if we really want to, we can be like, all right, we did the training simulator, we are ready. I know you did the tutorial mission, but since the advanced is cool, it's really fun, and the boss battle is nutso pantso, right? It's nutso pantso. Um, I just want more people to be able to try it, even if they can't hit that really advanced level that the game gets to. Is that too much to ask? It's okay if it is, let me know, but that's my wish for it. You're already going to reduce the size of the gauntlets. That's what I want, because they're cool, but they're too big. It's too much table space, right? I was thinking, as far as this, that these, all the components could be reduced in size just a fraction. I like that it's big and it's bold and I can see what's going on. I actually don't want that to change, but I wonder if the tiniest bit smaller would still let it have the size but take up less table space. I think people will appreciate that, particularly for solo, but even multiplayer. However, the smaller gauntlets might take care of it for the table space problem. Why indie publishers need our help? That's obvious. The game's not going to fund if we don't support them. So this isn't something where I'll wait for it to go to retail. I used to think that. It's not going to go to retail. It's not going to happen. Should you feel pressured to back games to keep the hobby going? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. FOMO doesn't need to happen, nor do you need to back something out of a sense of guilt or even out of loyalty. What it is you learn what type of gamer you are, what do you like. So if you like cooperative games with rambunctious, fun, wild themes, if you like retro, if you're stuck in the 80s, 90s, I think you'll be happy with this. It's a reasonable price. I don't remember what it is. Check the Kickstarter page. But I remember it's absolutely reasonable for what it is. The other thing is the quality. If you do the deluxe, the acrylics are beautiful. The dice are fantastic. The dice are going to be changed so they're more colorblind friendly, something like that. All of the cards are not totally done. All the fashion cards are going to be full color of the fashion item. Okay, that's not finished yet. And then the boards, this is high quality cardboard. I have not had any issue whatsoever. I am absolutely thrilled seeing the final product. Seppi, I knew I would enjoy the game. And to everybody else, I've known about Conquest Princess for a couple years now. It's been several years in developing. This guy has, the whole crew, I know Seppi personally, but Mark, everybody, they have worked through this game. They have play tested the life out of this game. I knew I would like it, but I was a little afraid it would be too complicated. When I got the first prototype, 6 months ago, it was a little more complicated than I was comfortable with, but I still knew I would enjoy it. But I was curious about the final product. Now that I have seen the final product, I am absolutely happy with it. I am very happy with it. It was intuitive. I reviewed the rulebook. I could figure out how to play, no problem. So, indie publishers need our help. If this is your kind of game, I think you're justified in backing it. The other is, should you back blindly? Well, of course not. Some publishers don't have a good reputation. I have not really worked with enough to know. I haven't been burned by anybody to this point, but I've heard of other stories. Fight in a Box. They've delivered early on 3 Kickstarters, I believe. I don't think they can possibly deliver early on this. I wouldn't expect that. They've delivered on time for their others. They have not failed any project. They made it through the shipping crisis. They have a good reputation. So look at reputations when you back your games for indie publishers. If they're brand new, make sure it's a small project. Make sure it's something that you are, I hate to say willing to lose. Look into them. Look into them. For the most part, you're not going to lose money, but that's always a risk. So a reputation like Fight in the Box, I think you're going to be okay. That's it. Check it out, Conquest Princess. Coming up on the channel, too much stuff to mention. We're continuing the Awakened Realms series. I've got the Great Wall on the table right now. I love you all. I'll see you next time.